It has been months of uncertainty for the students who are to appear for the Class 12 board examination. But that uncertainty perhaps could be ending soon. The government has formed a GOM to look into the issue of conducting the 12th board exams, and in fact, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will be heading that particular GOM, which will also have as members Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank and former HRD ministers Prakash Javadekar as well as Smriti Irani. Now, multiple aspects are on the table, including shortening the duration of the examinations, looking at multiple choice questions, as well as giving a second opportunity for those students who may have missed the first one due to COVID. Let's now take this across, in fact, to our guests who are joining us at the moment. We have Vaishnavi Badlani. She's a Class 12 student who's joining us. Also with us is Sania Sethi, another Class 12 student. Sunita Swaraj is principal of the Heritage School. I'm going to first come across to the students. And Vaishnavi, the government is considering holding these examinations under strict conditions, reducing the length of the exam, having only multiple choice questions, and giving a second opportunity. These are some of the safeguards that are being planned. What is your view as a Class 12 student, and do you think that this is feasible at this point of time to hold the exam?
My name is Vaishnavi. I study in GD Goenka, Surat. I feel right now Class 12th exam should not be conducted, looking at the current pandemic situations. And even if they want to conduct the exams, I believe first all the students should get vaccinated. If we talk about that, I guess that would take around 5 to 6 months, which is not possible, which would waste our year, to be honest. And even if they want to take the exams, then I guess they can take through online mode. But even if we look at that, the students living in rural areas will not be able to give the exams as they don't have all these. So I prefer that 12th board should be cancelled, and like they did for class 10th, we should be also judged on their internal assessments, on our pre-boards marks, and that's it.
Okay, those are some very important points. Let me also take this across to Sania Sethi before I go across to the principal of Heritage School. Sania Sethi, what is your view? Are you in agreement with Vaishnavi, or do you feel that the exams should be held?
Good evening, I'm Sania Sethi of Amity International School, Saket. I'm in class 12. I somewhat agree with what Vaishnavi said, because looking at the current situation, if we go forward and look at the situation, we really don't have any choice but to just, we really don't have any situation, we really don't have any update from the government yet for the board exams. And I feel like this is really wasting our year, but at the same time, if possible, I would love to give an online exam for my board exams. I personally think everyone should get vaccinated first and then should be giving the exam. So that's what I think for this issue at the moment.
All right, let me bring in Sunita Swaraj. Sunita Swaraj, you're the principal of Heritage School. The question that many want to know the answer of is that even with these safeguards, how practical is it to hold the examinations? There are different views on this, but at least one thing is certain, that the suspense on this entire matter perhaps is going to come to an end now.
Absolutely. It is at the moment very difficult to say whether we can have an exam, but if I look at the online exam, as people have been suggesting about MCQ or open OTBA, looking at the diversity of our country, it's not feasible. So there are different ways that we can look at mapping the children, as I suggested last time also, that for our government school children, they've mostly not had their classes for the last year. So there could be 3-4 different ways that could be taken up to map, because every school is very different. The private schools are different, government schools have their different ways of functioning. So it is also very, very difficult for the government to really give one answer. Like, for example, we've been really banking on one exam always for a child to get good scores and get into a good college. now is the time to really change, and we need to also look at the coming year. This is a year which is just gone, and we've been really contemplating on it. But I don't see the coming year also very comfortable for the students and for the examination system. So we need to really look into it. There are different ways, as I think one of the students suggested that grade 10 has been mapped in some way, but for that also there have been a lot of FAQs, a lot of questions which have been put up. So CBSE is trying to really figure that out, and I'm sure tomorrow we'll be waiting because we've also sent in a lot of our own suggestions to CBSE. So we're waiting for it to come up. I'm sure they will take up all these
Right.
aspects in their mind and then take a call. I'm very sure.
Sure. Let me get in fact, Vaishnavi on this again. Vaishnavi, the larger question is there's been a lot of suspense now for the last several months, at least 2 or 3 rounds there have been, of dates being announced and being cancelled. Now, my question to you is that at least the fact that there would be a final decision on this, at least that would end the months of suspense, because what have your classmates been talking to you about when you talk in terms of preparation for class 12? Because it's been a very, very long stretch from early this year in Jan, Feb up till now, where the past 4-5 months students have been waiting for a final call to happen.
My classmates are really stressed right now. They are not sure that they should prepare or not, because the decision is still pending. We don't know we should prepare for 12 boards or look forward to the future, or just sit down at our homes and just think. I mean, when the class 12 exams
Right.
were getting held, yeah. When
Go
it
ahead,
was
go ahead, please
announced
go
that,
ahead.
yeah. So when it was announced that the boards are in May, they are starting from 4th May, we really prepared from our heart. We were to the point ready for the boards. But then at just 15 days before our board exam, it was called out that no, they are postponed. So now we are not sure that we should prepare or just sit, or like we don't know.
Right. And is that the sense you're getting as well, Sanya, when you speak to your contemporaries, your classmates? Is that what they are telling you as well?
Yes, I agree. My classmates and friends are extremely stressed, and personally, I don't really have any motivation to even study. I have to find small doses of motivation to motivate myself every day to get up and study and give sample papers and examinations. But Vaishnavi was right when she said that when the exams were announced on 4th of May, we really prepared ourselves. We were looking forward to them. My teachers are basically telling us we are having revision classes, but at the same time, we don't really know if we should prepare for boards anymore. Should we prepare for them? Personally, as a student who has to give an entrance exam as well, I am really not able to create a balance between preparation for my board exams and the preparation of my entrance exam.
Right. Let me get in a quick word from Sunita Swaraj on that aspect as well. Sunita Swaraj, we were just discussing the safeguards that the government is planning to take. One is, of course, shortening the duration of the exam itself. If at all there has to be a real-world examination that takes place outside of the online space, and also doing multiple choice questions, and as well as giving opportunities for students who may be unwell in the first round of exams taking place. Are there any other aspects that would have to be considered, in safeguards, which would ensure that if the exams do take place, they happen in a safe manner and no child going for the exam at least gets infected?
I don't see that happening. I think today, looking at the scenario right now, uh, reducing the number of hours is one option that we have, but we're not very sure whether the children would be safe. Because at the moment it's not only COVID-19, but if I look at the fungal infection, and there are other different stress levels that the children are having. I think I've been meeting a lot of children, a lot of students, in fact, teachers, I would say. Everybody's families have something or the other which is stressing them out, and it has been really a very traumatic situation for everybody. So, looking at this, I mean, I firmly believe that we should still look at maybe an online exam, which I do not know how it is going to happen to the rural areas or economically weaker section children. I am really not very sure. But in case the government decides to take a test which is in person, then I think, as this child rightly said, that it might just take many months to really come out of an with a result. And so last time I think I suggested that why don't we look at the admission process to change in colleges, rather than just banking on this board
Right.
exam result and just giving children admission to the colleges on this. Rather, let's look at other things what the children have done from nursery to 12th, nursery to 12th. So there's
Okay.
different ways to map it, and we all need to sit back and figure that out. And I'm sure tomorrow the education minister and other secretaries are meeting, and they'll be able to take a call. But I don't see the
Right.
exam happening in person, looking at the current scenario.
All right. I'd like to thank you so much for joining us, ma'am, with your views on the story. Clearly, of course, it's a very significant development and a very important meeting that would affect the lives and, in fact, the careers of several tens of thousands of our students, lakhs of students, in fact, who take the board exam. On that note, Sunita Swaraj, Sania Sethi, and Vaishnavi Badlani, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us. We're going to slip in.